There's an epidemic going on, and it's not something you can see, but you can feel it everywhere. In the way we move through life, in the quiet moments we don't talk about. It's loneliness. It shows up in ways you'd never expect, like when you're out with friends, laughing and having a great time, but inside you feel like no one actually gets you. Or sitting at the dinner table with family, listening to everyone talk while the clinking of forks fills the room, and yet you feel like you're miles away. It's this strange, empty feeling that sneaks up on me, even when everything on the surface seems fine. I know I have people who love me, but why do I feel this way? And then there's the kind of loneliness you can't quite put into words. Like when you're scrolling through social media late at night, the glow of the screen casting shadows in your room, watching people live these amazing lives, and suddenly it hits you. It's not jealousy, it's that gap between where you are and where you thought you'd be. You start to ask yourself questions you don't want to answer. Why don't I feel as happy as they look? Why, even when I'm surrounded by people, do I still feel invisible? But no one likes to talk about this. Maybe it's because loneliness feels like admitting failure. Like saying, I'm lonely, means you're not good enough, or you're not trying hard enough, or something's wrong with you. So we don't. We keep it buried, hoping that if we stay busy enough, it'll go away. But it hasn't. The craziest part to me is that you can still feel lonely with people who love you, even with people who care. Because it's not about being physically alone, it's about feeling like no one truly sees you, like no one really knows the version of you that you keep hidden. I say this because I've been there. We've all been there. We live in a world where we're more connected than ever before, but somehow it's like we've forgotten how to truly connect. A world where we spend so much time curating these perfect versions of ourselves that we've lost touch with the messy, complicated, real parts that make us human. Here's what I think. Loneliness thrives in silence. It grows in those gaps between what we show the world and what we actually feel. The less we talk about it, the more power it has. But the moment you say it out loud, the moment you let someone in, that's when it starts to lose its grip. And I know that's scary. I know it's hard to let people see the parts of you that you're afraid aren't good enough, but maybe that's where it starts, with one honest conversation. One moment of saying, hey, I feel this too. Because the thing is, you're not broken. You're not weird for feeling this way, and you're definitely not alone. We all feel it. Even the people you look up to, the ones who seem like they have it all together, they feel it too. And maybe if we can admit that to each other, we can start to close the distance. At the end of the day, we're not meant to do this alone. We're not supposed to have it all together. I'm saying this because it's something I've struggled with too. I've had moments where I felt invisible, where I've questioned if anyone really knew the real me. But I've also learned that letting people in and being honest about how I feel is what helped me the most. I don't have it all figured out, but every step I take reminds me of this. Loneliness isn't the end, it's just a part of the story we all share. And maybe the most human thing we can do is show up as we are, messy and imperfect, to remind each other that we're in this together.